I wanted to talk a little bit about fatigue today. This is one of the main areas that I work in, and if I'm honest, one of the ones I'm the most passionate about healing. Fatigue, how do you know if you're fatigued? Well, generally, you feel terrible every day. You're dragging yourself to go to work, to feel motivated, to do the things that you love doing. Sleep doesn't recover you, and the joy is taken out of your life. Now, for most of people suffering fatigue, there's a lot of other symptoms and issues going on. And you more than likely, by the time you have found me, gone to numerous specialists, doctors, consultants, and mostly been told, well, there's nothing wrong with you. Could you be depressed? Or we can't find anything wrong with you. Take a little bit more time out. Or we can't really find anything wrong with you. Maybe stop doing as much during your day. And you know that inherently this sounds wrong. There's more going on. To the rest of the world, you look normal. You look like yourself. People may say, oh, hi, you're looking great today. And you know inside you feel terrible. And it's the most frustrating thing ever. And there are days when you are going to feel incredibly down about how you feel and question, well, am I just depressed? And no, you're not. You have fatigue, chronic fatigue, whatever we want to call it, but there is issues and imbalances going on in your body. And if we look at finding what the causes are in the correct way, looking at the clues that your health is telling us, then generally we can, once we have some answers, address these and get you back to full health. So what I am saying is don't give up and find someone who can help you. Now, most people by the time they have come to me have looked at a lot of different diets and tools for helping their health to improve, and it may get them to the 50, 60, 70, 80, 90%, but we're still missing something, and that's where I usually slot in to help, because I usually find that there is some significant imbalances going on in the body. And once I've done a full and thorough examination of your health history, going the whole way back throughout the whole of your life, it could relate to what water you drank growing up. Was it well water? Did you filter it? Could there have been contamination in it? Have you done much foreign travel? Has there been exposure to vaccines, mercury dental fillings? Have you suffered any bad bouts of food poisoning? Did you have any bad colds or flus that you never seem to get over? Are you suffering a lot of migraines, tummy issues, suspecting food intolerances, suspecting your thyroid, suspecting your adrenals, your hormonal system is out of whack? It becomes a bit of a nightmare. Most of you that come to me are highly educated people, and you were doing your best to figure this out, and it gets to the point where your brain is just going round and round and round, and it's scampering from one thing to the next thing. You feel a bit dissociated from your body. Trust starts to be lost in your health and ability to do the things that you used to be able to do. And often I see problems with anxiety, because at this point you're just drained from life, joy. So, what I'm saying is it's not all in your head. And if you really look at things and get to the root of them and what might be causing your fatigue, then, please believe that you can get back to that place of health. I fully believe that if you have been well, there is no reason why you can't return back to it. We just need to do the right things for you. And it involves a lot of honesty between how we work together, because there will be physical things going on, which we can find through the right tests. I use functional diagnostic tests, usually from accredited laboratories such as Genova Diagnostics and In Vivo Clinical, which are a supplier of several other diagnostic health tests that wouldn't be available through your general practitioner. We will also review a comprehensive blood panel, because there are some clues in there as to liver function, whether there's any B12 or iron deficiency, thyroid function, although thyroid function tests are quite unreliable, and that is well known in the medical literature. It's just we tend to place too much of a on the result of the general blood test, when sometimes they can miss things. They're looking for overt pathology, which is when you're very, very sick. But often fatigue is when the functions of the body are breaking down and they haven't quite reached that point of pathology where we'll find stuff in your labs. Often we will see a chronic low white blood cell count, a chronic neutropenia, or elevated eosinophils. There's reasons for that too. Many, and we'll look at those from a functional level. I'll often see general toxicity in the body from elevated levels of toxic metals. Now, we do all live in the same world, so why is it that some of us get sick and others don't? That's a complex question with a complex answer, and the important thing is, if we find something going on or suspected, we test for it and then we deal with it with proven methods. The gut, massive area. That would be my other main specialty area, and usually if we have health problems, there is imbalances going on in the gut. The gut is our way of exposing ourselves to the world and how the world expresses itself through us. So we'll often see imbalances between the beneficial probiotic bacteria that should reside there and unwanted and parasites, yeast, bacteria. This is an ever-evolving area of medical research. So do we know all the answers yet? No. But we do have a lot of information that we can work from at the moment. And from what I have seen, when we do diagnostic tests on the gut, if we find an imbalance and address that, for example, a parasite like Blastocystis hominis, when that's treated, often we'll see a significant resolution of symptoms. So in my mind, if there's a low risk to a treatment and a high potential benefit, it is definitely worthwhile addressing this and doing all we can to heal. The gut often can become inflamed, which in a non-technical term we'll call leaky. Then we'll tend to see more food allergies expressing themselves. Always the first thing to do is heal the gut. Rather than go spending lots of money on diagnostic testing for food allergies and food elimination protocols, we always need to first try and heal the gut, and often we'll see a significant resolution of symptoms. My thoughts on diagnostic tests are that really it's best, none of us have an unlimited reserve of money, especially when we've been suffering with health problems for a long amount of time. So we really want to use tests that have worth to us. Are they going to give us answers that help guide treatment in a practical manner and help us rule out overuse of lots of methods that we don't even know if they're going to work? So in my mind, I will recommend tests only if I feel they're worth spending the money on and that they'll guide us significantly in helping you feel better. So often people might have questions about various different tests, and hopefully I'm here to help guide you along the choice in the ones that are really going to help you. Fatigue is something that I'll commonly see in highly driven people. Sometimes it takes us learning a couple of lessons to know where that fine line is and how far we push ourselves. So definitely we'll sit down and address your life training, stress balance, and where we can make changes there. Being happy in life is very important. There is often a huge amount to be gained out of suffering with fatigue. I know that sounds harsh. I'm saying that from personal experience. It may not be your experience, but generally I feel there are several little nuggets and gems to teach us more about ourselves, our lives, the things we do in our lives, our passions, the people that we have around us. Influences from the media. Everything is fear driven in our world these days, so I do recommend that we sit down and assess a lot of things in life, our emotions, our training balance, our work, our passions, the people we have in our lives, the boundaries that we set up, how much we're actually doing, the level of perfection that we place on ourselves. I think that just to come in and believe that a diet and supplements is going to heal us is missing a huge part of the picture. So be prepared to address these things if you want to fully get to the core issues at hand. Diet, plays a huge role in our healing. But for many, as you've often found already, it's not the solution. So I there are some incredible people out there writing incredible books on various diets, and I don't want to go and reinvent the wheel. So yeah, you'll find me referring you on to many other resources and sites to do with diet while guiding you and hand holding you along this path. There's no one diet that's ideal for all of us. So we need to find what works for us and start to trust in our intuition about foods that do and don't suit us. There are two books, however, that I will mention because I do believe that they should be in your bookcase, on your table, and being used along this journey. And one of them, if I can get it along here, is The Paleo Cure by Chris Kresser. That looks like it's coming out back to front for whatever reason in this. So I'll put links afterwards, but it's the Paleo Cure. And the next one is written by Sarah Ballantyne, and it's called the Paleo Approach. This is her book here. So they have put a huge amount of work into these, and I mostly agree with all of the science that's in there. Now, the title Paleo is a little bit misleading, but it's a basic healthy diet based on what our bodies need. There's a lot of mistruths and dogma out there about the paleo diet, but by now we sort of have a fair understanding that it is a healthier diet. So both these PhDs and doctors have decided to run with the title paleo because people sort of understand it at this point. But it's more than that, and it can be a little bit more liberal. In brief, I believe that if we tolerate dairy well, good quality dairy, raw, organic, with probiotics in there, it can be helpful for us. Sometimes for a while we may need to remove it when the gut isn't quite the happiest place. Beans and lentils, if you can tolerate them, are incredibly healthy and nutritious foods, and some of us need a certain amount of non-gluten grains for health, energy, especially if we're active and athletes. And don't forget that if your body is tired and during the healing time, you may feel that your level of activity is very low, so that you don't deserve to eat enough. And the truth of the matter is, when your body's trying to heal, it's doing a huge amount of work. So we need to nourish it, and we need to nourish it well. And right now, if you're suffering with fatigue, it's not the right time to embark on a diet. In fact, if you're having weight problems, it's more as a result of poor diet choices and perhaps metabolic and hormonal imbalances that are going on within the body. So it's important that we address these. I guess it's important for me to add why this means a lot to me to help somebody along their journey with fatigue, and that is because I myself struggled with fatigue for a number of years, and when I really crashed and burned, I really found I had no one to go to. I ended up within the medical system because there was no one like me available to me to help me. And so I understand your frustration if you have been this side of the system. It got to the point for me where I wasn't allowed to travel because of a chronically low immune system. I was being told that the next round of tests would be lumbar punctures for leukemia because I had a chronically low white blood cell and neutrophil count. I was suffering migraines. I had chronically itchy skin, which then developed into a lovely rash. This is a form of gluten intolerance called dermatitis herpetiformis, and I had the itchy skin for quite a while. So I'm assuming that my gluten intolerance goes back quite some way, and if I explore my family history on either side, there are telltale signs, not of overt celiac disease, but of other issues, especially to do with absorption issues and gastrointestinal issues. So I went through, yes, the gluten intolerance, the fatigue. I had, my adrenals were shot, which again, adrenal fatigue isn't a very medical term, but it's understood by the general public, and it essentially means that your cortisol and DHEA and melatonin and secretory IgA profile are all off of what should be normal, and it can be in various patterns. So often it's important to diagnose where are you on the spectrum of imbalances that we tend to see with the cortisol, DHEA, secretory IgA, and melatonin profile, so that we use the correct approach for you. For example, some supplements may actually be work counter to what you actually need based on where you are. I had gastro issues, like I said. I picked up a lovely bug from a nasty food poisoning incident that happened 5 years previous to when my health really crashed down. So you will be amazed at how long we can harbor these imbalances in our gut, and I think our bodies does an amazing job at trying to contain an infection, an imbalance, but it comes at a cost to the rest of the body with the immune system, inflammation, and fatigue. The body is in sickness mode. I had very, very high levels of mercury, which were a bit of a mystery to me. I hadn't been suspecting them. I am fortunate that when I was growing up, my mom took great care of my teeth, so I've never had a dental filling. So it just goes to show that, you know, our environment contains numerous toxins too. And why was I holding on to these? Well, perhaps I have little genetic differences to other people, or maybe my personality at the time was one of someone holding on to everything. Which, yeah, I would say so. And this is where I'm saying we need to be really honest with ourselves and our emotional health and balance, and our trust in life and the world, and our ability to become ourselves and follow the paths that are right for us. Because at the time of my fatigue, I definitely was not on the path of me. I was not happy. I was not in a positive relationship. I was holding everything in. I was unable to touch off of my true emotions. So for me, it sucked having fatigue at its worst point. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't walk around the block. I felt like shit. My brain was mush. I couldn't remember things. My maths was worse than it is now, which is something else. So despite all of that, I see it as the greatest gift, because it started to push me on the right path. And it taught me balance. It taught me to accept, embrace, love, and nourish my body, to stop pushing, to do my best to let go of that perfection seeking and to start exploring. But also, it taught me about you. It taught me what it feels like to have fatigue. It taught me what it feels like to have adverse reactions to things that people won't believe you about, because your body, when it's in that imbalanced place, responds differently to everything. It taught me a lot about highly sensitive people and empaths. I'm not a fan of titles, but often we'll see persons who are highly sensitive struggling with energy. So there's more to the equation, and if that's you, we can talk about how we can best elevate your energy and how to deal with things in life that tend to lead to you feeling tired. It's always an us thing, although at times it feels like an outside thing. So learning to master how we get through life, and be ourselves and honor ourselves and find that place of taking care of ourselves and honoring our energy. And am I well now? Yeah, I feel great. But I won't lie, there are days when I feel tired and when I should be able to do a run and my energy isn't the same. So it's taught me that there's fluctuations in our lives that require us to pay attention. It's often not a real tiredness, but a signal to slow down. That today you are meant to go slow and be present and listen to the world and expand in that way. And there'll be other days when you have so much energy and it's there to be used. Energy is in a flow. There is an abundance of it. So when there's changes within us in a healthy body, it's often signals about, what our next steps are, what we're meant to be doing with our day, and honoring that. So I'm not going to drivel on. I hope this is making sense and reaching you. And if you do have issues and challenges with your health and energy right now, if you don't feel like yourself and you feel that there's something going on, trust in that intuition. Seek assistance from the person that you are drawn to, that resonates with you on your level of them understanding what's going on and offering assistance. And embrace the journey. Stop fighting with your body. It's tired for a reason. It's demanding time. It wants that energy to heal whatever imbalances are going on physically, emotionally, or spiritually. So honor it and start to work with it and stop fighting against yourself. You will get back to full health. There may be steps along the way. It may require trust. It may require making change. It may require looking into your life and looking outside to your environment. And what I am saying is it's very much worth it. And see yourself getting to that place where you want to be again. And it's not that old you that had energy. It's the new you that has energy. So if I can help or you want any advice or assistance, just send me an email. Don't phone me, I'm useless on the phone. Send me a text or email me or contact me through my blogs or my web pages. And if I don't hear from you, I trust that you're on the path that's right for you, and I wish you the very best of luck. Take care.